Good morning, everybody. Don't know what I was doing there. Sammy, United People's TV. Welcome to the morning news show. You know what it is. I'm going to run through absolutely everything for you, bring you bang up to date. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation today about Baleba and more Brighton's boss. Is it Fabian Hurzeler? Can't remember his name exactly. Anyway, comments from him, the strategy which is working, and the fact that I think it's kind of reached a point. The bid's got to go in now. Everything's in place. I think the United strategy has worked to this point. Whether we can put the right bid in, we'll discuss that. We'll also speak about the latest on Højlund to AC after an update from Fabrizio Romano. We'll speak about Anthony and Real Betis, some loans for Toby Collier. We'll speak about Cheeto. We'll speak about Šeško, Bruno, Amorim. As always, covering all the news, and you get involved in the chat. Let me see down here. Let's see who's here from the mods and the members, and let's get on with the show. Good morning to you, Ant. I saw you there. Josh, I saw you there as well. Steph, good morning to you. Carl. Rex, you sent in a super chat early saying, hate to be a Debbie Downer, but is Ineos extending the credit facility to get Šeško and Baleba walking to the right direction? Decision, sorry. You can be a Debbie Downer on that. It's a risk, but it's a risk driven by footballing ambition and the logic that, right, okay, if we spend now and we spend bigger than we plan to this summer, and it therefore leads to a better season where we finish higher and we maybe get European football as a consequence next season. I don't know. It's ambitious, very. My predictions video is going to go out tomorrow. Then it will pay for itself. The interest that you pay on the extra credit card that we're going to spend this, it will pay off. We'll reap reward. It's a risk-reward policy. I mean, United could have played it safer this summer, and I don't think any United fans would have been pissed off, but we would have kind of known as why we were doing it because of financial reasons. I wouldn't say it's it's a risk, but it's a risk for footballing reasons, with the ambition of making United better, quicker. Right? That's what I think. Right, let's run through the news. Now, there's one person who's definitely pissed off this morning, and his name's James Trafford. I'm laughing because it's not happening at United. James Trafford, he's returned to Man City after a record-breaking season in the Championship with Burnley? They hardly conceded a goal. Anyway, yeah, don't worry about it, James. We're just going to go and have a conversation with Donnarumma. See if he fancies joining too. If you're James Trafford, you are pissed. So I think the idea there is that Ederson might leave and then Donnarumma might come in. I spoke about Donnarumma yesterday, gave you my opinion on the whole situation. I don't think it makes any sense for United to go in for Donnarumma. We'll speak about it. It looks like we're distancing ourselves from any move from Donnarumma because we can't move Onana on. I don't think there's any way that you're having Onana and Donnarumma in the same squad. Eagle Eyes down there. Yep, we've got the new kits up there. I've actually ordered 3 more as well. I've got one with Šeško, Cunha, and Mbumo's numbers on the back. I thought that would be a cool thing for the studio. I've also got, you can't see it, that's why it's off camera. I've got about 20 different shirts all lying down there that I've got new coat hangers for. I need to add to the collection over here. Look how big the collection is now. Decent. Getting some more. Why not? I'm greedy. I like having shirts. I think it looks cool in the studio. Aid, thank you very much for gifting 5 memberships. And Potato, I saw you earlier gifting a membership as well. That's the decent. I'm looking at that going, for goodness sake. I want that jacket now as well. I've got about 6 jackets sitting over there. I've basically got can open like a United shop. Where are the shirts from? What's the name of the website? Well, DM me on Twitter and I'll send it to you. I think someone asked me yesterday. Anyway, they're class. This made me laugh, man. This really made me laugh. Somebody looking at the announcement for the 3rd kit, pausing it. 21 in the background. You have to admire people sometimes. It's good fun. It is all in jest. Now, my predictions video for the season, I'm going to run through where I think United will finish in the league. League Cup, FA Cup, top scorer, top assists, best player, and surprise player. That's going to be coming out tomorrow, all right? Now let's speak about the headline, and it will be the headline until there is a conclusion either way. And it really does feel that everything is in place now for United to put that bid in. United have had a strategy here. I've already spoken about it yesterday. On the thumbnail yesterday, I said United's strategy is working. And it is, and it has been. There isn't really too much of a news update for you in terms of, the bid's going in. But I want to run through comments from, as I said, Fabian Hurzeler, and also what the BBC is saying from Brighton's perspective. And we'll just have a little conversation, because I think this is really important, and also part of the strategy that is needed. Someone asking for the FPL code. Right, I'll put it down here again. For the next couple of days, remind me, and I'll pin that as the comment. Leagues, United People's TV, invite players, copy auto join link. Right. So I'm pretty sure that link right there is the link to the FPL. Fantasy Premier League, United People's TV, free to join. Going to be doing some spot prizes, maybe do some kits throughout the season, some cash, some tickets. I don't quite know. Going to be bringing in the community manager, and this is the sort of thing that he can help and make sure that we run properly and everybody gets involved. Anyway, this is David Ornstein speaking on Sports Agents Pod with, I think it was Mark Chapman, just reiterating kind of what we already knew. Okay? Baleba is number one on the list. Baleba is top choice for United. And you got Ed Aarons in The Guardian saying United are exploring a move for Baleba, and that was the case last week when the intermediary talks began. This is where I think it gets interesting today when I speak about the strategy. If United had kind of out of nowhere gone and put in a bid for Baleba directly to Brighton, I think it just would have got rejected out of hand. Sometimes moving in silence and surprising when it comes to transfers can be a good thing. I don't think it would have been a good thing with this situation. Now, I'm going to run through comments here from Hurzeler because it's not Brighton accepting that Baleba's leaving. They can't do anything about it. But it's a conversation about the strategy of Brighton. And this is important, right? I'm going to run through what I mean, all right? So this was Fabian Hurzeler speaking on, what was it, Monday Night Club podcast, right? And he was asked about whether he worries about having to sell key members of his squad. He goes, no chance, don't feel fear. I'm not afraid of anything because the only thing we can do is be the best version we can be every day, like work as hard as we can. All the other things we can't influence. For sure, we can't spend the money like big teams do, but one of our biggest values is togetherness. And he goes down and speaks a little bit more down here. And he was asked about sort of the club model. He said, look, it's not easy, but we proved last season that we are a very competitive team. Look, without João Pedro, for sure, he was an unbelievable player, but we can't replace him with one player. We can replace him as a team. That's our focus. He was asked about João Pedro leaving and joining Chelsea. And he's speaking about the club model there. It's not easy. And the club model, we know what it is. It's about spotting talent, buying talent, nurturing talent, selling talent on, and repeating that process. It was a club policy that Dortmund had a few years ago and nailed. Remember? Haaland, Bellingham, Sancho. Bringing players in, developing them, selling them for huge money, reinvesting that, and trying to repeat that cycle. But this is where it gets interesting down here, I suppose, right? Hurzeler was, speaking about it in a bit more detail. He said, we as a club always find solutions, and I'm sure in the future we will find solutions, and that's our model, and we have to accept it. I think that as a club we have proved we are not only selling big players, and I think that Mitomo conversation is something we have to have. He said, of course, there were some big players who left the club, but there are new players that are coming into the club with the togetherness we have, with the team chemistry we have. We can compete with the big teams. But I suppose it's that bit there which is the most interesting, because that is the Brighton model. And this is all part of the strategy. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, right? Where do you think Brighton were 10 years ago? Pop it in the comments. Because whatever model they have had since... Actually, I don't know when did Tony Bloom buy Brighton? Tony Bloom buys Brighton. Anybody know when Tony Bloom bought Brighton? I don't actually know that. Poker and betting, football chairman. 2009, Brighton. Bloom has been a chairman of Brighton, a prominent league, having gained promotion. He succeeded Dick Knight after 75%. Was it 2009-ish? Anyway, you're all saying down there about where Brighton were. 10 years ago, Brighton were here in the Championship and in 20th position. 20th position in the Championship. And if you look at what's happened since 2017-18, they came up to the Premier League 15th, 17th, 15th, 16th. Survival, 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 survival. And then look at the last 4 years. 9th, 6th, 11th and 8th. Brighton have massively flipped the script. And a big part of that is this model that's been discussed by Fabian Hurzeler. That's our model. We have to accept. It's not, and this is an important point to make as well, right? When it comes to Baleba, when it comes to United signing Baleba, or just a traditional established top 6 club trying to sign a big player from somebody else in the Premier League, once upon a time, United would have been able to bully Brighton into getting the player that they want at the price that they want. And I completely agree with you down there. Brighton have massively maximised. They are the shining example of a club that has taken data and used it to their advantage. That's absolutely no coincidence. In the last 4 years, Brighton have nearly got 4 consecutive top 10 finishes compared to 4 near relegation finishes before it. Their data became more streamlined, more efficient, and it worked. Now, Brighton here, this is the thing. Brighton are not going to be bullied about Baleba, and that's kind of the point I want to raise. And that's why I quite like the United strategy so far. You could argue, I'm just kind of being hypocritical there, saying we United aren't bullying Brighton, but we're trying to get Baleba to exert pressure from the inside. And it's worked, by the way. His head is definitely turned. And now you've got their boss coming out and saying, look, this is the club's model. We have to accept it. It's not easy, but, we'll replace. Not saying directly we are selling Baleba, but everything is now set. And this is what I mean about United not being able to bully. You remember when they turned down this bid for Matoma in January? I was properly shocked. I was like, what? 95 million? Are you crazy? They turned it down. Previously, United may have been able to try and bully Brighton. We can't now. Maybe it's because of where we finished, but also because Brighton have established this model, established that it works, and also you've got the Matoma example, and you've got the Caicedo example. Now, actually, if you want to go, also using that Caicedo example here, Brighton's Baleba stance is unchanged. This is from the BBC, right? Brighton have been keen to stress they have no desire or interest in selling Baleba, right? And we know that's the case. But this was also the case with Caicedo. And also here, right? And this is an interesting one. Caicedo wanted to leave. We haven't heard that yet about Baleba. Maybe we will. Maybe that's what United are trying to do. So maybe United are simply looking at the Caicedo example and going, right, okay, well, this is how you deal with Brighton. Right? This is what we do first. We try and exert pressure on Baleba. It's actually a mapped out strategy. Rather than going, we want him. Sorry, let's just put a random figure together. And it's going to be up to United to bid big, right? That's the thing I think I'm saying here. We spoke about this, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. We spoke about the price that we think should be going in for him. There is no point United going in my opinion, lower than 85, maybe 90. That's his price. That is the value of a player like Baleba. So United need to go in big. They've done the groundwork in kind of disrupting the Baleba camp. His head's turned. He's looking at United. He's going, tell you what, pretty damn excited. That'd be cool. Personal terms won't be an issue. Never were going to be an issue. The issue, of course, was going to be the price. Someone down, I'm going to read a few of your chats down here. Ash, you're saying Baleba's not coming. Brighton aren't selling. And also, there's no other clubs who are also looking at him. So no competition, no sale. See, Ash, I think I go on the flip side there about the fact that there is no competition. That's probably a big reason why United are actually accelerating a move that they may well prefer to do next summer. Because next summer, everybody would want him. This summer, Liverpool have spent, they could probably spend more, to be fair. No one's really in for him. And I think that's exactly why United are going for him. Someone down there saying, but is he really worth 100 mil? Honestly, yes. I really do feel that. I'm not just saying that for performative reasons, for headlines at all. I honestly feel the way that the Premier League tactically has changed over the last few years and just the way it's going, every single year, each team needs to be made more and more like athletes. It's the speed and the intensity of the Premier League. It's getting crazier and crazier. The pace of the game is so fast and it is relentless. And that all-purpose central midfielder who can do it in defence but also do it in attack and can do it for 90 minutes and can do it 38 times in a season, that player is worth 100 mil. Declan Rice to Arsenal was worth 100 mil. Genuinely think that was a fair price. Caicedo to Chelsea was worth more than 100 mil. Baleba to United will be that player. And Rodri, and look, you can see the bloody succession plan. Rodri's started this season with another injury, but Pep doesn't want to go out and sign a complete replacement for him. They tried to do that in January, and they're trying to ship him off already, aren't they? Can't remember his name. But City would be all over Baleba next summer. Simply as a perfect succession plan for Rodri. Steve, you're saying it's why teams go through us? Well, it's one of the many reasons why teams go through us. My point here, the strategy, I think, has worked. Now's the time for the bid. Yeah, I was speaking about outgoings next. We'll speak about Højlund, Anthony, a couple of loan spells. I think to this point, United have played it quite well. Brighton won't be bullied, though. And that's exactly why I just ran through. United's strategy is understanding what club you're dealing with, right? You have to deal with each club individually differently. It's kind of why it's so difficult to, I suppose, when you deal with different businesses in standard business, you have to know the business that you're dealing with because each business you're going to deal with differently. It's certainly the case here with football clubs, and it's certainly the case with Brighton. Don't go in with a low ball offer. Go in big, go in near what we're going to offer because we haven't really got time left. It's the 13th of August. And then figure out the sales. And the sales are definitely something that United, finally, by the way, and I think we've all been calling for this for a long time, United aren't bottlenecking themselves going, I'm not going to do a signing until I make this sale. That's what we've done before. And then we never make any sales. And then we go, crap, it's at the end of the window. Well, we're going to have to get loan signings in now because we haven't got any time left. Right, let me read a few more of your comments out. Daz, you're saying he'll replace Rodri next season if we don't get him? I think so, though. Dylan, you're saying anyone questioning this fee is strange to me? He's like Caicedo with more box-to-box ability. Yeah, I think it's the most valuable position in the modern Premier League. And the fact that you've got what striker, random question here. What are the most expensive players in Premier League history? In terms of positions, most expensive Premier League signings ever. Transfer records in the Premier League. Caicedo's number one, isn't he? Oh, that's stupid. I don't mean sales. They've got Coutinho as number one. Ignore that. Wirtz. Jeez, forgot about him. Enzo. I suppose Enzo is that sort of category, isn't he? That's Real Madrid. Jack Grealish joining Everton. Nuts. I was more interested to look at this and see in terms of positions in like what sort of players they are. So attacking midfielder, central midfielder. Hazard doesn't count because going. Grealish, was he a left winger? Yeah, I'd say he's more of a midfielder. Declan Rice, central midfield. Caicedo, central midfield. Lukaku, nuts. Paul Pogba, central midfield. Mostly midfielders there. Filter to arrivals. What's that? Main position, transfer, arrivals. Oh, there you go. Only new players. Display selection. Selection. Man, this website's a bit annoying. Right, there you go. Go away. Block notifications. So these are the most expensive signings ever in the Premier League by position. Attacking midfield, central midfield. Left winger, central midfield. Defensive midfield, centre forward. Central midfield, centre forward. I would say there's two players in the Baleba category. Enzo, I think you can you put Enzo Fernandez in that same category as well? I think you probably could. Kind of box-to-box central midfielder. So 3 of the top 5 are in the Baleba-style player. That's Donnarumma. These players are just extremely valuable. It just so happens that Brighton have not only had one of them, but the replacement they signed for him is turned out to be the exact same. Fair play, man. Fair play to them. Dean, you're saying Baleba will be our most influential signing since Bruno. Someone saying Enzo's down there as an 8. Yeah, he's not the exact same, but he's in that central midfield category. All right, that's kind of my point. Pivot player, central. Yeah, central midfielders who can play in a midfield too. Is that a fair enough description? I think so. Anyway, United, go big. It feels like the time is right. The groundwork is done. The head's turned. Brighton's boss is even talking about the fact that they've got a club strategy. We have to accept it. It's not easy. Everything's in place. Get that bid in. Right? Now let's speak about this lad. I spoke about him yesterday in my lunchtime video because there were so many stories going around. There's so much conversation. I said, Donnarumma would not be a bad goalkeeping signing. Now, I don't think there's many goalkeepers that you would look at now and think that's a bit unfair, actually. There's a lot of goalkeepers that you would look at and say, well, he's an upgrade on Onana. Donnarumma probably would have been one of those. But unless United are selling Onana, there was never any chance of it. Have you seen what's happened yesterday with Donnarumma? Let me explain. Right, he's released this statement to PSG fans basically saying, look, unfortunately, someone has decided that I can no longer be part of this group and contribute to the team's success. I'm disappointed and disheartened. He doesn't want to leave. He's being told to leave. And that's Onana. Wrong one. I'll speak about Onana next. Right, did you see this from Donnarumma's agent? We will consider the solutions now. Maybe in the Premier League, there will be clubs able to pay what's needed. PSG are asking for big money. They talk about respect, but it's only about money. And he's also talking separately about taking legal action against PSG. It's dead confusing. I was thinking about this earlier, right? You know, if you're in like a normal job, you've got a normal contract. As part of that contract, you're going to have a termination clause, right? I suppose, yeah, typical people don't sign 5-year contracts, do we? I'm trying to sort of understand and relate to it. Not relate to it, but trying to understand it. I suppose typically you'd only normally sign a 12-month contract, right? And as part of that, you'd have a termination clause on both sides where, you know, breach your contract, you can lose your job, stuff like that. Is there nothing in there for football clubs when it comes to players? Like 3 years into a 5-year contract, if you decide, actually, no, the direction of the football club has changed, it doesn't really quite suit us anymore, so we should probably try and sell him. And then like agents are talking about legal action against that. I don't know. I just don't think I understand player contracts. Bit weird. If a manager doesn't want to keep the player, it's a manager's decision what legal action is there to take. That's kind of why I'm a bit like scratching my head here. Yeah, do you imagine and you mentioned it down there, Chelsea with their 400-year contracts they've handed out to everyone. they're going to get into a lot of legal. And they'll probably pay the way out of it. Anyway, I kind of felt Donnarumma was a bit of a non-starter unless Onana was leaving. And because Onana had a hamstring injury, even if United wanted to sell him, we couldn't sell him. And now he's back in training. And it looks like he's going to be available for the Arsenal game. It's kind of what I feel. I just don't think it's the right call for him to have his first minutes of United, of the whole pre-season, of everything against Arsenal at Old Trafford. I think he probably would have, United are trying to do it behind closed doors, friendly this week to give Šeško some minutes and to give Onana some minutes. But still, I just think it's a big old risk. Mr. Men saying we should look elsewhere if legal action, bad egg. I don't think we're looking at him anyway. And that's kind of the reports that's coming out from the BBC. Strong pushback against any link with Donnarumma. A goalkeeper's not a priority. I think if a goalkeeper is a priority, it should be someone like Sendemons. Somebody who had a breakthrough season last season. Great prospect. Already had a full season of senior football, so he's not exactly a kid. But somebody who would come in and challenge for the first team spot. And if he takes it this season, if Onana has a bad few games and Sendemons is there and he goes in goal and he nails it and he takes his opportunity, then you've got your succession plan in place already. And then in the summer you sell Onana and you don't need to sign a goalkeeper. Or alternatively, you've got a great backup who might be there for a year or two. It just made more sense. I think from a strategy perspective, I think it made more sense to go for that number 2 who can challenge for a number 1 rather than a direct number 1 in Donnarumma. And someone down there saying we need experienced goalkeepers. Onana was the experienced goalkeeper. So I can't exactly say that with any chest that we need an experienced goalkeeper. And that's what, because we got that before. And it didn't quite work. By the looks of it, Onana's going nowhere. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's in goal against Arsenal. I'd fear it, I suppose. What are you saying down here? Donnarumma's a world-class goalkeeper. He's an upgrade to Onana. To be fair, Onana's a risk whenever he plays, so you might as well stick him in. In all honesty, do you think we will get Baleba, says David? I think whether or not we get him depends on how big our first bid is. Obviously, Sam. But I don't think Brighton are going to be in any sort of mood to negotiate. So effectively, we're going to have to go in close, probably like 90% of our max bid is what we should go in with. Go hard or go home with that first bid. That's what I think. Then why were we looking to sign Martinez, says Chris. I think we were looking to sign Martinez on loan. And on loan only. Basically just trying to take advantage of Aston Villa and their financial situation. They said no. We moved on. It was us just kind of trying to take the piss. When do you think we will bid, says Roy? I like to think in the next 48 hours. I like to think that there will be a bid that goes in before Arsenal for Baleba. That's what I would like to see. I think we're in the position to do that now. If I can ask, if there's anybody who's new here, make sure you do please subscribe to United People's TV. Get involved and get involved in the chat. Let me see if any other news is broken that I've missed. And if you want to join the FPL, the link is pinned to the chat, right? So, speaking about midfielders, this is a video that we've had ready for about a week, but we just didn't really have the space to put it out there. It's about Kobbie. It's about his role in the system. It's about the 2 midfield roles. Stihausen spoke with Amrim out in the pre-season tour, and he was sort of explaining exactly what he wants to see from his 2 midfielders and how he sees them separating. So is Kobbie a number 6 or is Kobbie a number 8? We looked at the strengths and the weaknesses of him in both positions and say, right, this is where he fits in. So I think you'll enjoy that one. And if you sign Baleba, you've got a midfield duo there who honestly can play that midfield for United for the best part of the next 10 years. I swear to God, that's not an exaggeration. That really, really is not an exaggeration. Anyway, got confirmation yesterday that Šeško is number 30, which we already knew. Diego Leon had that straight away, but he was like, it's fine. I'll take 35. I don't know what Diego Leon's number was out in Cerro Porteño in Paraguay. It might have been 30. I don't actually know. But he was fine with it. He was sound with it. Now, let's speak about this one. What's this Rashford interview? I haven't seen anything in this Rashford interview yet. I saw it coming out there. Who's he had a chat with? Is that the Gary Lineker one? I think he sat down with Gary Lineker for like 45 minutes, didn't he? Did you see that? A couple of random things that have happened here. And I think this is really quite exciting for YouTube and for creators and communities like us. Number one, Gary Lineker's podcast. I don't know if it's the rest of football or whether it's just a Goal Hanger network. They've secured rights with La Liga to be able to use footage across the course of the season. So they can do, I don't know, this interview with Rashford. It can include footage. It's not something that's been done before. And then separately, randomly, there's this French YouTuber who's bought broadcasting rights for the Saudi Pro League and is therefore going to be able to stream it live for free on Twitch and YouTube. Because the communities he's built are so big, he was able to compete for that, which I think is pretty cool. I think if anybody here watches NBA, a bit random, and I'm on a little bit of a tangent here, I just wanted to explain something. If you're an NBA creator in America, you can use any footage. They just allow it. Whereas if you're in England in the Premier League and you try and use any Premier League footage, bam, the copyright strikes come left, right, and centre. The videos get blocked, you get strikes, and you're scared to use it. Now we've been starting to use more footage over the last year or so, delicately, and we want to continue doing that because I think that it makes the videos more engaging and you'll enjoy them more. I think I think the Premier League is going to eventually switch towards that NBA style model where instead of looking at creators and communities like ours as a threat, they realize, well, actually, if you allow them to use the footage, then the content that they will be able to create off the back of it will be even better and will actually indirectly benefit the Premier League. That's what I think, right? Riley, you're saying it's a recent thing. NBA used to be the same with copyright. I think it's a transition that's going to happen in the Premier League as well. I'm looking forward to it. So watch your space, I suppose. Right, Rasmus. Okay. Let's speak about Rasmus Højlund. Unfortunately for him, United have clearly made the decision that Rasmus Højlund does not have a future at Manchester United. Certainly for this season, but probably in the future as well. And this is the latest from Fabrizio, right? Saying AC Milan keep advancing on the Højlund deal with United. Talks are ongoing on the player's side to discuss the project as Højlund is opening doors to AC. Now remember that Højlund closed the doors on Leipzig, which I actually think I still think that was a bit of a foolish from him. I don't know whether those doors are firmly closed now. I don't know whether, has anybody seen any links with Leipzig and signing a Šeško replacement? I've got no idea. I still think that would have been a better boon for him. But look at the numbers included down here. €6 million loan fee, a €45 million buy option, and salary covered. The agreement's getting closer. €51 million in total, and 100% of his salary covered. That's pretty damn good money. Pretty damn good money. Now, sometimes buy options become obligations, depending on whether X amount of appearances or certain stipulations that can be met that can turn buy options into obligations. You're saying that they've signed a striker already. Oh, never mind. Daz, you're saying bloody hell alone. Look, if United get a $6 million loan fee plus his wages covered, I don't know what his wages are. Højlund can't be on that much. Probably somewhere between 100 to 150 a week. I say Højlund's not on that much, my God. Still a load of money. So if you save that 100 grand a week, so let's say it's 100 grand a week because it's easier. That's 400 grand a month times 12, 10, 4.8 mil per year. Well, 4.8 mil for 12 months plus a 6 mil loan fee. That's a good amount of money that you're saving and receiving, and then a 45 million euro buy option. Yeah, I don't know whether the AC would ever pay that. I'll be totally honest. That's why I kind of don't really like dealing with Italian clubs when it comes to selling players. They always try and chance it. They always try and get a loan. They rarely actually go out and spend huge amounts of money. Simply because the money in Serie A is nothing compared to the money in the Premier League. That's just the truth. But yeah, I know it's not an obligation, it's optional. Sometimes options can turn into obligations according to what you put into the loan agreement. I'm not saying that that's the case here. I'm just saying sometimes it is the case. I think AC would be a great move for him. That's one stadium I've always wanted to see United play in, and I never have, is San Siro. And I think there's about, 3-4 years left before are they taking the San Siro down and building a new stadium on the same plot? I know that they've already agreed to it. I just don't know where it's going to be. But I'd love to see United play at the San Siro before. I didn't get to go out there. You know the game where Rooney scored 2 headers? Was that the game where Park was marking Pirlo as well? I think so. Oh, yeah, Zlatan. I forgot about Zlatan at AC. I think it'd be a class move for him. Also living in Milan. Be a good lifestyle, man. Be a good lifestyle. Either way, this suggests that AC are closing in on him. It's going to be a loan with an option. That's probably, again, this is a compromise. We're looking at more compromises here, man. United don't want to loan Højlund out. They want to sell him. Can't find a club that's going to buy him. Right, okay, then we'll loan him out. Give us a decent loan fee. Cover all the wages. Put an option into it. That's a compromise. Pretty decent one, actually. Steve, you're saying I was there when we played Inter in the Champions League back in the noughties. Beautiful stadium. Man. Be awesome. I'd love to go there. Yeah, I think they are tearing it down. That is sad, isn't it? Oh, someone else saying San Siro is listed as a listed building in Italy. Wait, if it's a listed building, you're not touching that. What's going on here? Missing some stuff. Man, why is it my phone goes nuts during shows? Anyway, speaking of compromises, man, we've had to. It's so frustrating what's going on with all of them. You can pretty much put them all in the same category here. Sancho, Antony, Garnacho, Malacia. Rashford's the only one who's left out of the quote-unquote bomb squad. This is coming out of Spain, so I don't know. This is a little bit whiffy, but we know full well that Antony has been linked with clubs from Saudi, clubs from Italy, clubs from Spain, Real Betis. No move. And I think Antony and Garnacho are in the same category here. Garnacho only wants Chelsea. I'm just going to sit around and wait until they put a bid in. They might lowball you, I don't care. Right? Kind of feels like that's the exact same thing as what's going on here with Antony. Antony went to Real Betis and, to his credit, had a very good loan spell. Earned the fact that they want to bring him back. You know what's kind of part of this? I think United are going to have to make sure that clubs that we loan players to, geez, lads, make sure that they can actually afford to sign them if you're going to then sell them. If they're going to do good at that squad. It's just annoying. Real Betis want him. Real Betis can't afford him. It's like giving someone a car on finance that they can't afford for 6 months. And then they're like, I really want it. Would you accept 10p? Well, no, mate. It's worth like $1,000. I don't know why. I don't know what cars you're getting for 10p or $1,000 here. The analogy makes sense in my head. Real Betis have tasted the rainbow and they've got a player that they want that they can't actually afford that doesn't fit their bloody budgets. Someone saying I don't blame Anthony in the situation. I don't blame Anthony either because, I would love to live in Seville. I'm not sure if I've only mentioned it 100 times on here, but still the best, and it probably will be at now, I'll be honest, the best ever away trip. 2 days in Feb, and I think that was 0-0. Mourinho. It was an awful game, but just the hotel we had, the spot we had, bueno, muy bueno. Just give us 15 mil and skip him. Anti's saying Sam Betis should be able to afford him after sales. They're just playing us. Yeah, they sold, was it Johnny Cardozo to Atletico? I think it might be the wage structure. Either way, Anthony and Betis are trying to play us. Chelsea and Garnacho are trying to play us. We have to stay firm. Unfortunately, it's just frustrating. But it seems like there's at least movement with the Højlund situation, which is one step in the right direction, right? What's happening with Malacia? Absolutely sweet FA is happening with Malacia. Think he's getting linked. I don't even know where he's getting linked with. Poor lad. I don't have any ill will towards Malacia at all. I think the best that United can hope for is a loan spell with 100% of his wages covered. I think Malacia will just want to play football, man. I think best case scenario for him would be moving back to the Netherlands again. He went, obviously, to PSV last season, won the league with them, but they didn't want to exercise the option. I think after the couple of years that he's had, I think it would be best for him to sort of stay in the Netherlands, stay near what he knows and what he loves, but no one's coming in for him. And obviously this lad, look at that for a segue. Link with Saudi, link with Celtic. Don't actually know. But Diego Leon, I just wanted to run through this because I quite like this, the idea of it. Come from Nathan Salt from the Daily Mail, saying that he's the talk of the dressing room right now, with one source even describing him as the most popular player currently. Leon, 18, arrived from Paraguay this summer, and given he doesn't speak any English, many of the more senior pros have become fiercely protective of him. And this could be whiffy. All right. But I like the idea of it. That's why I wanted to speak about it. Did anyone see the video of... Where were they? Don't know where they were. They were out in Chicago, I think, during the preseason tour, and Diego Leon's sitting there trying to eat some salmon and rice off a chopstick. Can't do it. I couldn't do it. Give me the fork. Bang. Gob. Anyways, there for like 30 seconds trying to do it. And everyone's like cheering, having a good time. It seemed like a good vibe. And this might be nothing here, but after the players returned from 2 weeks together in America, in Chicago, New York, Atlanta, they landed and then went to the Drake gig together. Right? And then you might think that's absolutely nothing. Like Xerxes was there, Kobe was there, Heaven was there, you see Mbuma in the background, Bruno was there, I know Bayindi was there as well. They didn't... I think the point I'm trying to make is that they've just spent 2 weeks with each other, but then they kind of went out as friends to the Drake gig. Yeah, I saw the Delict celebrations yesterday. This has always been like such a core part of what Manchester United, what makes Manchester United, Manchester United. Like that family connection. It's something I always remember growing up, man. The example that will always come back, because it's the best example of it, is Beckham after the World Cup, 98, burning effigies after he got red card against Argentina, went back to United. Fergie said, right, fuck you, you're not coming in, you're not coming in, close the doors, in you come David. What happens? United win the treble the next season, and David Beckham is, I would argue, the best player in the entire bloody world. Why? Because Carrington was the safe place. Because Carrington was that environment. And that's exactly what Ruben Amorim is trying to do this summer, right? These are, if you want to call them small margins, I don't even call them small margins. Instead of players begrudging coming into work and going into Carrington now going, what day is it? Right, a couple of days into the weekend. Can't bother. Players want to go there. Players are becoming friends. It's these things that make teams teams. That's all. Half our squad speaks Spanish. That also helps. Who is it that speaks like 5 languages? Can't remember. Anyway. A couple more little bits on loan spells. Hearing that Toby Collier and Hull City could be a move that happens. Who was it that was getting linked with Sheffield Wednesday? I think it was Harry Amass. I was like, come on, man. There's got to be a better club than Sheffield Wednesday right now, given what's going on there. But Toby Collier to Hull. It's like Jack Morehouse went to Leyton Orient. I thought that was a good one. Delo, Bruno. I can't remember exactly who it is. There's definitely a few multilingual United players in that squad, which certainly helps. Maybe it is Delo. Mazraoui? No idea. Everyone's guessing. At least no one knows. And one little last note before we round off today's show. Going back to the Højlund situation, what's happening with Cheeto? This has come from Nathan Salt from Daily Mail saying, with Højlund's exit being accelerated, there are no plans to push Cheeto out on loan. Limited minutes mean the door isn't totally closed if a compelling opportunity arises, but the expectation of today is that Obi remains with the first team group to continue developing in-house. Is he 18 yet, Cheeto? Has he turned 18 this year? Cheeto Obi. So he turns 18 in November. Bloody hell, man. Kid's 17. Yeah, nutsays. You kind of forget that. Considering if we've had like a whole season of speaking about Cheeto because of everything that was going wrong with our attack, he's already a name that sort of feels established in our heads as a United potential first team option. Kid's 17. Didn't turn 18 until November. Now, given what we just spoke about the new Carrington, about the new culture, about the new standards, I'd say that's an environment I very much want Cheeto to be in. To grow up and see, oh, okay, this feels new. This feels fresh. I like this. And that will help in his development. And you never know. Could get some minutes behind Šeško too. I do think United only need 2 strikers. I kind of said that quite a lot. You know, people saying, oh, keep Højlund, keep Obi. You can't possibly keep them all happy. It's just not possible. No, especially not a squad. We've only got 1 striker. And you got Xerxes there too, remember? Of course. Anyway, that's it for today's show. And I'll go back to this. I think United have got everything in place now to put that bid in before the Arsenal game. We've got his head turned. Brighton's bosses, we know the Brighton business model, and it's worked for them. They can't begrudge it because it is their model. It's how they've created this period of success for Brighton, where they've had near 4 top 10 finishes in the Premier League in 4 consecutive seasons, whereas the 4 seasons before they finished 16th, 15th, 17th, 15th. They've established themselves in the Premier League. They've established a business model, and it works. And it also involves selling players at the right price. United won't be able to bully Brighton into selling him for cheap. They've shown that with Matoma. They've shown that with Caicedo. So United have, I think, done everything right to this point. But now the big table's got to be put. The big bid has got to be put on the table from United to show that we're serious. Can't go this far and then try and take the piss with the low ball. Do I think we sign him? I don't know how deep this credit card goes. Because I think that's pretty much the only thing that's going to stop it. Is the finances. If the right bid goes in, we will sign Baleba this summer. Can United afford that? No one knows. Are United willing to pay that? We're probably going to find out in the next couple of days. All right. Thank you, everyone. I thought it was a pretty good show. I enjoyed that. If you can, make sure you do subscribe. If you can, drop a like on the video. We're getting another double drop today. I said I don't treat you well. Told you it was a busy build-up. Lunchtime today is going to be a video on Mbeumo, Šeško, and Cunha. How do they work together? How will they complement each other? What are the key aspects of their games that will blend well? You'll like that one. It's about how United's attack's going to transform. 7 p.m. tonight, I think you'll also like. I'm going to run through United's full squad and say, what is our best 11? Going to put every player in the squad depth in each position. We're going to assess it all ahead of the season. You never know. Might be adding Baleba into it as well. But thank you all for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow morning as always. Take it easy.